All right, so Corinne, when I go into my retirement account, I see that there are like a lot of different lists of funds of where I can put my money. What are all these different funds? How do I pick one?
So inside, let's just say your 401k, that type of retirement account, you'll usually have the option to put your money in a bunch of different mutual funds. And mutual funds are a basket of investments. So it might have stocks inside of it, it might have bonds, it can have a mixture of it, sometimes just stocks, sometimes just bonds. But it's a collection of a bunch of different investments versus just one. So instead of going out and buying an individual stock or an individual bond, by putting your money inside of a mutual fund, you're able to invest in that entire basket of investments. And what we usually see in 401ks are target date funds. So inside your 401k, there might be something like a 2050 fund or a 2040 fund. You sometimes see those listed on there, right? What that's representing is the point in time when you expect to retire. And those target date funds are designed to become less risky over time. So it's a mutual fund that will slowly incorporate more or lower risk investments, like usually bonds, as you get closer and closer to the year that you're going to retire. So we see those quite a lot in 401ks.
So I think well, I know that's where mine is invested right now. I have something that says target date, and I think when I logged in, I was asked a few questions about, when do you want to retire, and I think some other questions, and then it just picked one for me, and that's where I put it. So is that kind of a safe way to go to stick with a target fund if it's someone like me who doesn't really have a lot of knowledge about investing?
I think that target date funds can be a really great option because it's a way that you can set it and forget it. Target date funds allow you to put money into a retirement, an investment for retirement every single month that's designed specifically for that point in time. So you're basically like handing off the work to the mutual fund manager to make the decision on, okay, how much risk should we be taking now, knowing that this fund is designed for the year 2050 or the year 2060. So you don't have to do that on your own. You don't have to decide, okay, well, how much should I invest in bonds now and how much should I invest in stocks now? So if you don't have a target date fund option inside your 401k, then you would need to do that on your own. You would need to figure out that just right mixture of stocks versus bonds. And again, these can be mutual funds inside your 401k. Your 401k might give you, or any retirement account, they might give you the option of investing in a mutual fund that's all stocks or a mutual fund that's all bonds. And then from that, you can choose exactly what percentage of your monthly contribution, like what percentage of the money that you put in there each month you want to go to stocks versus bonds, and then slowly over time make that less risky on your own. So, I mean, it's clear that a target date fund does all that work for you, which would just save you a lot of time and energy. With that, though, sometimes comes a higher cost. So sometimes target date funds can cost a little bit more than what mutual funds may be, that aren't designed for a specific date.
So with mine set up as a target date fund, is that just like a set it and forget it, where once it's invested, I can just like let it do its thing, or do I need to be checking in periodically to see what's happening with it?
That's the great thing about a target date fund is it's virtually set it and forget it. I think it's always great just to check in on it. One, because it's awesome to see, what growth may be occurring inside that 401k as you work towards that goal of retirement. And also just to check in on how much you might be being charged for that type of investment, because that can change, over time. But aside from that, like, it really is something that you can set and forget. So that can be like a really great option for you if it's something that you don't want to have to worry about rebalancing. So we have a whole other video on what rebalancing is and some of the different ways that you can do it if you don't have the option to do a target date fund. And that's something that a financial planner can also help you decide, how much should I have in stocks and bonds at any given point in time. So I was mentioning how 401ks typically have mutual funds inside of them as an option. You've got this list of different things that you can choose to invest your money in inside your 401k. And an important thing to know too is that outside of 401ks, which you can usually have, what you can have access to is something called an exchange traded fund. And it operates very similarly to a mutual fund. ETFs Our exchange traded funds are also a way that you can invest your money in a basket of different things. So a collection of stocks and bonds, or different types of stock or different types of bonds. They function a little bit differently, and in doing so, they can cost less. They can also save you some money in taxes. You don't really see those inside 401ks or 403bs, or employer sponsored retirement accounts, but you can see them in your own brokerage account, sometimes even your IRA. So that's something that you can also take advantage of when you have the option. ETFs can be a great substitute for mutual funds when you have access to them.
So it sounds like if I'm kind of newer to investing, it might be worth like scheduling time with a financial planner initially, just to make sure that I'm getting started on the right track and I know what my different options are, and then can kind of go from there. Does that seem right?
When it comes to figuring out where to put your money inside of a 401k, I think that the value that a financial planner can bring to you is not only just a second set of eyes. Even if you're just considering a target date fund, very simple, very direct. It's easy to choose that from a list. They can look into that fund and see how it's been performing, and maybe take a look at how much it's going to cost you, and let you know where that stands in comparison to others that are available to people. Or in the case that you don't have a target date fund, or if you don't want to choose a target date fund, they can help you figure out what kind of asset allocation you might go with. So basically, like, where should you put your money? What mixture of stocks and bonds should you use, based off of how much time you have? And they can give you some advice on how to set that up initially, and then probably how to change it over time. So again, that just comes back to asset allocation and creating a portfolio, and that's something that we talk about a bit more too. But a financial planner can certainly help you with that initial setup.